Triple H is now in charge of the WWE. This you know, and this you think about constantly. And actually, even though he's just picked up the reins, he has also taken his change stick. He's gone pretty damn crazy. So hello, my name is Simon for What Culture, and why don't we go through those changes? Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And this is 10 radical transformations Triple H has made in just 1 month. Number 10, more in-ring wrestling. Now that one may seem absolutely ridiculous, but we have to call a spade, and Vince McMahon very much enjoyed segments. Vince McMahon very much enjoyed skits. Vince McMahon very much enjoyed giving a wrestler a microphone, a WWE superstar, and saying, why don't you talk for 22 minutes? I mean, a recent episode of Raw had 75 minutes of wrestling total, which equated to 25 minutes per hour. And if you actually look into the statistics, that's much better than what the average was before, because for a while there, it was only 12 minutes every 60 minutes. Which makes you go, how the hell can you even call this a wrestling show? Although I guess they didn't. It's sports entertainment. Now, do not get me wrong, I still want all of the other shenanigans, but I don't want it to go too far this way, and I don't want it to go too far that way. It's like Star Wars, damn it. Bring balance to the force. Number 9, stories are less erratic. Bruce Pritchard once revealed on his podcast that Vince McMahon didn't see much point in doing long-term storytelling because he didn't think that the crowd cared. The most important takeaway was that they were entertained and they have fun, and while I can appreciate that, I also do want a narrative that has a start, has a middle, and has an end. Otherwise, what usually happens is you're getting invested in something, then it just vanishes, and you think you're going crazy in your own brain because nobody tells you otherwise. Now, however, we may be telling simpler tales, but oh my gosh, they all come together wonderfully. I mean, all you gotta do is go back to NXT 1.0 when Triple H was in charge of that, and you know that when two wrestlers get together, they're gonna have a tete-for-tete, and then they have a blow-off down the line, and it makes me feel good. I don't want to think I'm going insane. Number 8, the announcers are having fun. Now, if you are not aware, one of the things that Vince McMahon liked to do when Raw or SmackDown was on television was actually produce his commentators when they were live on air. And when I say produce, he would yell at them like, oh, that was a stupid thing to say, you're an absolute moron, how dare you do this, although he used a lot more expletives. And it got so bad that you remember back in the day when Mick Foley was a color commentator for around about 3 seconds? That's because he went, yeah, no Vince, I ain't putting up with it. But if you do go indeed watch someone like Michael Cole now, it just feels like he has a new lease on his wrestling life, and his relationship with Pat McAfee is even better than it was. And it was already pretty damn good. And it's the same for the trio on Raw. They just feel like they're speaking as if they're actual human beings and not some weird entertainment robots that have made up their own language. And of course this is a massive deal, because what's one of the first things you engage with when you turn on WWE programming? Damn it, it's the announcers. So let's keep this. Never return to what was. Number 7, the midcard belt means something. I mean, this was one of the earliest changes that we did see, because all of a sudden, not only did we have over-the-top hype packages for the Intercontinental Championship, but the United States title was also treated like it was more important than your nan. She's pretty damn important. I mean, contrast how the current IC champion Gunther was treated to compare to Ricochet a few months ago. There are occasions when I wake up in the middle of the night like, is Ricochet the Intercontinental Champion? I can't remember. And then I had to Google it, and I just felt sad in my tum-tum because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Stuff like this is so important though, especially at the moment, because Roman Reigns is not only the WWE champion, but he's the WWE Universal Champion, meaning you don't have any top-tier belts on either program. So if you can make a big deal out of the United States title, and you can make a big deal out of the IC title, when you do sit down to watch your wrestling, you know there's a prize that you can give a damn about. Otherwise, you're just doing this with your hands going, well, what is even the point? Restoring NXT piece by piece. Now, I'll be the first to say that I quite liked NXT 2.0, because if you watched it in the guise that it was presented in, it was absolutely fine. It was developmental wrestlers trying to learn their craft, and you just got to see it live and in person and on television. But ever since Triple H has taken over the big reins too, and Shawn Michaels is well involved in NXT, it does kind of feel like we're taking a little bit of the original NXT and we're taking some of 2.0, we're stirring up in a big pot, and the result, I suppose, could be NXT 3.0. I mean, don't call it that because that would be stupid. But look how already we have this seamless transition from people being called up there, moving to the main roster, while still adding in talented workers a lot of whom recently have got a new coat of paint. And once again, this is absolutely crucial to the overall WWE bubble, because if you are going to build superstars down there and then not do anything with them on Raw or SmackDown, well, it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of my time, and it's actually a waste of the people working at WWE's time. So let's take this, throw it out the window. Number 5, less silliness. I have to admit that I hope there is actually a little bit more silliness now that Triple H has taken over, because goofy wrestling is the best thing in my entire life. Now that says a lot about me, but the truth is the truth. However, there were some elements that did need moving to one side, namely the 24/7 title, because while every now and then we would just get absolutely ridiculous with it, to the point it would make you laugh, mostly it was just dumb, stupid stuff, and your non-wrestling fan would sit down with you to watch some wrestling, and you'd have to explain this gubbins, and they'd look at you like, how dare you waste my life? And you'd be like, yes, I did. I think a better way to put this is that Triple H's WWE just feels less childish, and that is going to be important when you are trying to grow a bigger audience. Because what you need to do is be like, oh, hey, do you want to come see some super serious pro wrestling? And then an individual does go, I would like to do that. That's when you hit them with the dumb stuff. When you do the dumb stuff right, I tell you, it works every other time. But again, was the 24/7 title the right stuff? No. Number 4, overlooked wrestlers now have some focus. Like Shayna Baszler. I'm sorry, have you ever seen Shayna Baszler in a wrestling ring? You just look at her and go, well, she could probably kick anybody's ass, and yet for the longest period, we didn't do a damn thing with her. And yet Paul Levesque has taken over, and seriously, within a few weeks, she is now challenging Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I tell you, I like Liv Morgan. I think she's fantastic. But if Shayna does win and goes on some kind of reign of terror, you won't hear an argument for me. In fact, I'll be waving my Baszler flag, and that's weird. There's also been a renewed spotlight put on the tag team division, and let's face it, you should always do that, because it's not the same as singles wrestling, and Kevin Owens feels like in the next few years, he is going to be the WWE champion again. Now, you don't have to agree with all of these switches. I can only talk about it from my world, but every single name that just came out of my mouth is one of my favorites. So all I have to say is oodalali. Number 3, promos feel looser. We have talked about this since the olden days, but yes, around about 20 years ago, WWE decided they needed to script their performers, because that way they'd be more like a television show. Maybe they'd win an Emmy or something. Now, I do not believe they ever have won an Emmy, but what it actually did was take away from some talent, because of course, there's going to be some individuals who prefer having a script, but there's going to be others that just want to wing it, and if you don't let the wingers do their winging, well, you're not going to see the best out of them. It has been quite obvious, though, that over the last month, this is not the case at all, especially when Drew McIntyre called Roman Reigns the tribal queef. However, after this, he also got into an incredible back and forth promo with Kevin Owens, who also sounded like he was shooting from the hip, and within around about 2.2 seconds, I was like, well, these feel like real human beings, and now I'm connecting with them. And once again, I want to make it very clear that sometimes you are still going to have to hand a piece of paper to somebody because it's going to benefit them. But also, if you know somebody can fly, don't clip their wings. Why would you want to ground the most beautiful of birds? Number 2, the returns that Vince McMahon wouldn't have booked. Like Johnny flubbing Gargano. Because not only did Gargano make his way back to WWE, but he was given a 15-minute segment of Raw to say, yeah, I'm a really good wrestler, by the way. Maybe you should take me seriously. And let's just be honest, no way Vinnie Mac is doing that. And it is the same with Karrion Kross or Dakota Kai. And really what I enjoy about this is it means we're going to focus on people of all shapes and sizes. So if you're a jack dude, you may get a push. If you're a small dude, you may get a push. If you're a fat guy, you may get a push. And having a cast of characters that feels different is just something you need in pro wrestling. Otherwise, I may just go and walk down the street. I don't even know what that means. It also gets you excited for the future because, of course, more WWE guys are going to go to AEW and more AEW guys are going to go to WWE. But now the net has been cast so wide that if rumors started to speculate that maybe Darby Allin was going to go up north to New York, I'd be like, yeah, you may as well give it a go because all the rules have changed. Number 1, there's a buzz around the TV again. And you know this one is true, because just go and look at the ratings, especially when it comes to Raw. That has increased so much, it now has gone above 2 million I don't think we've had that for ages. This really does come down to the way that the programs have been booked, because not only have there been surprises, there's been some really banger matches, and we have had some championships change hands. I mean, Monday nights are always going to struggle because they're 3 hours long and nobody wants to do anything for 3 hours. But when you can actually make it feel like must-watch programming, you will sit with it past hour 2 because you'll have that little thing in your tum-tum going, oh, but what if something happens at the end of the show? So you're like, damn it, 5, we'll stick with it. I mean, really, this comes down to a cliffhanger. It blows my mind that 90% of wrestling shows don't end with you going, oh my gosh, I never saw it coming, because as soon as you have that idea in your head, you will absolutely tune back in. I want to make it very clear that all of this is very positive too. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I hope WWE smashes it. I hope AEW smashes it. I hope Stardom smashes it. Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling. If wrestling is exploding, everybody wins. Go team. Know of any other changes that Triple H has quite clearly made over the last few months? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Then head over to whatculture.com and read yourself some articles. Make sure you follow us on social media at Simon316 and What Culture WWE. Damn it, we've got a lot of videos that need a friend. You could be that buddy. My name is Simon from What Culture. That's right, all my friends are videos because I'm a very strange man. You take care of yourself. Peace out.